So if you're looking to measure your HSE performance, then the best template to use is the HSE performance monitoring tool. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with our template, we have two versions of this. We have the manager version and the officer version. The difference is very simple. In the case of the officer version, you build database on a daily basis to generate daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly reports. Whereas the manager version, you build database on a monthly basis to generate monthly, quarterly, and yearly reports. For those who want to keep themselves very busy on a daily basis, then you may want to go for the officer version. Whereas those who have a lot on their plate and want to focus on high level activities, you want to go for the monthly database, which is the manager version. Now, we've recently come out with a new update, which I'm very excited to share with you. So without wasting time, let's head over to my screen. Now, just a recap of this template. Like all our templates, we always have the table of content for easy navigation where you can just click anywhere to go to every specific sheet. We have a set of instructions over here which you can actually use to guide yourself through the process of using this template. And then we have the approve list. Now, all our templates, we always introduce the approve list, which is where you can predefine your set of parameters. Now, in case of this template, you're going to be predefining your list of sites or companies and then the working hours. And then we have the incident rates with the standard base factors already populated here, which are all going to be used for the calculation. But for any reason, if you're not using the base rates here, you can actually change it. For example, the total recordable injury frequency rates and the rest are all using 200,000. But for some cases, companies who have a larger workforce may want to use 1 million. You can do that changes over here. Now, once you have your list of sites already populated here, then we have the objectives on targets, right? Now, the changes that we introduce start with this very sheet, the objectives and targets, because the target and then the actual are taking their sources from separate databases, which is the target source data dedicated for certain yearly targets for all the sites that you're tracking, and then the actual database or the actual source data, which is dedicated for building daily database in the case of the officer version or monthly database in the case of the manager version. We are able to then compare the target and then the actual. Now, these two taking their sources from the database, for some reason we had to create pivot tables. Now, these pivot tables are all taking their sources from separate database, and for that reason you cannot link them together. But that is actually not a final solution. You could actually link them together using Power Query, but the file size is very big, and if you try to link them together, then it's going to explode further. So we decided to stop right there. On the Power BI model, which we've recently introduced, we've been able to link them together. So the actual and then the target source data are all connected, and using the same slicer, you're able to drill down and drill up. However, in the case of the Excel version, because they're all taking their sources from separate databases with separate pivot tables, and for that reason, separate slices and timelines, we decided to introduce this here for you to select the target that you want to track. All right, so you need to be very precise with the timeline and careful. So if you're tracking target like 2021 in the target database, because you can have targets across multiple years, right? Because in the database right now we have 2021, 2022, 2023. You could add on. So all of these years are all going to be populating on the targets slicer over here. So we have 2021, 2022, 2023 according to what is in our database. All right, the same thing with the target slicer here for the list of sites or companies. So we have LA Safety, Matfield, and Shexel. That is a list of sites we have in here. So we have these slices which are acting like filters, and these filters are what we use to basically filter out the reports. So slices are filters that you can move around on every sheet. You can actually paste them on every sheet. And then we have the actual slices, the slices that are taking their sources from the actual database. Now, take note that the actual database, in order to generate reports, we create a lot of pivot tables, and we insert slices which will link to all the pivot tables. And for that reason, on almost every report, you're going to find the slices and timeline which you're going to use for selecting whichever month you want to report, or basically for drilling up and down, things like that. Okay, so basically on the actual and the target source data, we have these slices here, and they are very important for you to ensure that you are clearly aware and you are tracking the right parameters. So if you click on, for example, LA Safety, then you're going to get feedback that you're comparing wrong target against wrong set of actuals, right? Because this LA Safety, Matfield, Shexel are all active, which means that they are sort of a summation of all the KPIs for these three sets of companies being compared against only early safety in the case of the target. So that gives wrong figures, right? Because you cannot be comparing different parameters from both actual and source data. So you need to select early safety for you to get a clearance that early safety is being tracked. Now, if I select wrong parameters, it's going to tell me you're comparing early safety against Matfield. So wrong companies are being tracked. If I select Matfield here, I'm going to get feedback that Matfield is being tracked, right? If I select Shexel here, wrong company is being tracked. If I select Shexel here, the right companies are being tracked. Okay, now we are done with the companies. If you select everything like this, right? All right, you can actually select everything. You're gonna get feedback that you're comparing all the sites. So that's a cumulative figure of all the KPIs, cumulative figure, right? So if you are talking about man hours for Matfield, early safety, Shexel, cumulatively, that's gonna give us a cumulative figure. And if you're looking at all the KPIs here, you're gonna get cumulative reports or cumulative results for each KPI. So if you just select by early safety, then you're going to get only for early safety, right? So we need to make sure that we're selecting the right parameters. Now the same thing applies to the years. We need to make sure that we're selecting the right. If I select the target for 2021, I need to make sure I select 2021 right here. If I select 2022, you're going to get wrong, going to get feedback that you're comparing wrong years. So wrong years have been selected. Now if I choose 2022 and I choose 2022 here, then I'm going to get feedback that all is being tracked for 2022. So the same thing, if you're tracking Matfield, or let's say Matfield, right? And I select here Matfield is being tracked for 2022. So this is an error checking feature that we've introduced to ensure that you do not make mistake by comparing different parameters across different timelines. All right, so that is number one. That is the update that changes the game for a lot of users, because now the error checking feature is actually across all the worksheets. So let's get into it now. Just remember target source data, actual source data, and we have the monthly report. Now in this monthly report also, we are not comparing any targets against actual, so we don't have it here. Now everything that you see here is based on the actual database. So we have the actual slices only here for you to basically filter out the reports to each of the month within your database. And in the case of the observation, you're going to be daily report that you're going to be seeing, right? Now when we go to the statistics is also coming from the actual database. We are not comparing targets yet, right? So basically you can select the year over here to get a yearly report. You could select for all the sites like this to get all the sites, basically cumulative, figure for all the KPIs, both leading and lagging indicators. So your HSE statistics is generated automatically based on the actual source data. Okay. And then we move on to the next, which is the trend dashboard. Now the trend dashboard also is not comparing the actual against target. It's only looking at the actual database. And for that reason, we don't have the target slices here. Okay, so basically we are looking at the count of the lagging indicators, the count of the leading indicators, the number of workers, the man hours worked, and everything. But you have the slices here, which are all coming from the actual database. The pivot table we generate from the actual database, for which we have these slices, can actually help us to see the report for each of the companies. All right, now this is not comparing it and contrasting yet, but if you want to compare and contrast, we can do that in another table. If you want to look at report from multiple companies, right, or multiple sites, we can do that. Now this is basically what you use to actually visualize the trend for each of the KPIs, and then we have this drop down list that helps you to actually see the trend for each of the KPIs. So you can actually select whichever KPI over here. Okay, so that's pretty much for the trend dashboard. Now the game changes when we are looking into the target dashboard. Now the target dashboard is very, very simple. It's based on the fact that we have the target, we have the actual, and for that reason we are estimating a score, which is a way of measuring performance, because scoring is a way of normalizing or standardizing parameters to put it on the same scale, on a scale of 1 to 100. So whichever parameter, whether one is 1000, one is 100, we are comparing the target against the actual against the target and estimating it in percentages, so we can be able to compare performance, right? So on the target dashboard, we have all of these scores showing here, and we've actually grouped them into various categories: control of work, behavior-based safety, workplace controls, employee competence and awareness, continual improvement, employee engagement, and emergency response. Now, these are all the KPIs that we are using, and we are estimating the score based on the actual being compared against the target. All right. Now, because we have the target and then the actual being compared, we want to make sure that we are sticking within the same parameters, both on the actual and then the target source data. So we are first going to look at the companies, right? So the target slicer here for company, we select early safety. We must select early safety here as well. And that gives us the update that early safety is being tracked, okay? And then with the same timeline, we select the target 2021 and we select the actual 2021. Then we get a early safety is being tracked for 2021. Now, if you select wrong timeline, you're going to get early safety is being tracked, but wrong year selected because you are comparing 2022 against 2021. So we want to make sure we stick within the same timeline, the same set of companies. Now, if you select everything, you need to select everything for this one as well. Then it tells us all is being tracked for the year 2022. When we select all of this timeline and we select all of this, right, then we're going to get feedback that all is being tracked for multiple years. So this is an error checking feature in this new update that helps us to ensure that we are reporting the correct parameters. All right. So these features have been introduced on almost all the dashboards. In the case of the incident dashboard, we also have it on incident rate dashboard. We have it on control of work dashboard. We have it on behavior-based safety dashboard. We have it on workplace control monitoring dashboard. We have it on employee training and awareness dashboard. We have it on continual improvement dashboard. We have it on employee engagement dashboard. Now, these are all set of KPIs that relate to the purpose of the dashboard. Employee engagement is looking at safety meetings, safety bulletins, and things like that, right? And then we have the emergency response dashboard, basically looking at all the drills for each month, comparing actual against target in the form of a score, and you need to make sure you're selecting the right parameters. So this is a game changer for all our users. All right. Now, most importantly, we've also introduced this same error checking feature on almost every KPI report. So when we go to each of the KPI reports, that is based on the actual and the target. For example, induction, we have the target here, the actual here. We want to make sure we are selecting the right parameters. And for that reason, we are using the error checking feature to make sure that we are not missing anything. So this applies to induction, job safety analysis, toolbox talk, participation, and all the KPI reports that we have introduced within the HSE performance monitoring tool. So this is the excitement about this new update that is going to make your work much easier. And all you need to do is just build your database, both actual and then the target, and all of these reports are going to be generated automatically for you. All right. So without wasting time, I'm also going to be showing you another version of this. Now, taking if we introduce a Power BI version, that is the excitement of Shexel. All the excitement we bring to you to make your work much easier. So without wasting time, let me head straight onto my screen for the Power BI model. So when you go to the Power BI model, basically, if you purchase the Power BI template, you're going to get a Power BI version, and you're going to have to connect it to the Excel template. So you're going to need two templates. The Excel template, which is already loaded with a lot of features to make your work much easier and exciting. Together with the Power BI model, it gives you a lot more data visualization features. Now think about it. You have all your database in an Excel sheet, and then you have your visualization on Power BI, which can publish to the web within your company, and all you need to do is just share this link. No need to even send the Excel file to the people to look at the report, but just share the link. Now the excitement of this template is the fact that we've literally given you a dashboard for all the KPIs. Now let's have a look at this. Before you get started, we have the getting started feature that tells you a little bit about Power BI, the HSE performance monitoring tool. All right, so this one is actually looking at the officer version. All right, so we have the manager version as well. And if you want to purchase, you can always purchase here. We give you how to download Power BI onto your desktop, and then how you can connect it to your data source, which is the Excel file, and how you can actually explore and get support as well. All right, if you want support, book a meeting and we want to jump on a call right with you. All right, so let's have a look at basically some of the dashboards. All right, so we have the performance scorecard. And this performance scorecard is looking at the scores across the worksheets in the database, right? For all the KPIs. Now, the scoring is very, very important because that's how you can actually measure performance. We put all the KPIs on the same scale. We can see the trend, which ones are actually dropping, which ones are actually increasing based on the directional, symbols that we have in here. And you can actually drill down. You can drill up and down. You can look at it, company-wide view, all right? And then you can even go a step further like this. You could drill down again like this to look at yearly view. Now this observation is just one timeline within, so that's just 2021. So you can actually drill down like this to look at quarterly reports. You can drill down like this to look at monthly, right? So let's go back to the, how it was before, and we can actually use this to come down to this level. So we can actually come 3 levels down to put it in a very nicely presented tabular form like this. Okay, now we can actually look at various other in the reports within this template. Like we have the HSE statistics, which is very, very good. All your statistics are in one place. You can actually look at it like this, and you can visualize. You can drill up and down, like go up various levels high like this. You can drill down like this, come various levels down to monthly. All right, and then you can even come back up like this again, and then you use this one to expand to various levels down like this. So there's 3 levels down. And then we have the man hours analysis. Now man hours is an important metric for health and safety, in the sense that every worker goes to work, they have to be productive for safety. They need to work safely, and the hours that they spend during the day is their man hours. And that man hours, we are accounting for them to ensure that they are contributing to a safe day every day. And for that reason, one important KPI that you want to be aware of is the safe man hours. Now the safe man hours is a man hours without LTI, and that man hours can be estimated as a percentage of the man hours to get a particular score. The target is that you want to achieve 100% score, implying that your man hours is equal to the safe man hours, which means there's no incidents, right? So basically the KPI is looking at this: the number of workers, the man hours worked, man hours lost from LTI, safe man hours, the percentage safe man hours, right? So that is the score. We look at it. You actually drill up and down like this. So always you have the option to drill, basically drill down. Okay, you can drill up like this to look at it in terms of the timeline, or basically quarterly, monthly, and all of that. So this is really, really exciting. Okay, so giving all the insights you need, incident analysis, which look at all the the KPI, the total incident, which are total recordable injuries, what is the lost time injury, what are the fatalities. We're looking at the incident types. This is like the incident funnel, basically, to look at which one is the highest, which one is the lowest. All right, and then we also have the incident trend. So this is basically like the trend, total recordable injuries. Basically, this is the total recordable injuries over the month, right? You can look at it in the terms of the year as well. And then we have all of these incident rates. This is strictly for incident rates, looking at total injury frequency rates, lost time injury frequency rates already estimated for you. And we have each of the KPIs as a dashboard. So toolbox stock analysis. It's very, very important. Toolbox stock is an important means of engaging workers before they start the job, to always get them on track, to think safety before they start the job. And for that reason, you want to set a target, you want to achieve the target, you want to estimate the performance in terms of a score. And currently the performance is there as 54%. And we have the various targets and actual being compared against each other. We have the maximum value, the maximum score that was achieved in a given month, the minimum score that was achieved in a given month. We have the month-on-month changes. From each month, you can see how you performed with an increase or a decrease up till the end of the year. And we have the quarter-on-quarter, the year-on-year changes within a toolbox stock performance. And then again, we can compare performance across multiple sites or companies if you have multiple sites within your database. Then we have the toolbox stock versus month on month. So you can see every month's score, but then again, you can see the changes within that whole period, right? And then again, we can talk about the variance. You set a target of 100%, you have a particular score, there is a variance, you want to track the variance, you want to reduce the variance to the barest minimum, all right? So there's the depth of analysis we do for each KPI, and the good thing is that we've done it for all the KPIs. So you have it on permit to work system, we have it on risk assessment or risk basically job safety analysis. We've done it on training analysis. We've done it on HSE observation. We've done it on workplace inspections. We've done it on equipment inspections. Now, the good thing is that we can do it for all your template, all your key performance indicators. So you can actually customize these templates for you just to look exactly like how we've done it. All right. So if you want to customize the template, just get in touch with us. We're going to sort you out. Right. So safety walkthrough analysis, unsafe act and condition analysis, internal audit analysis, external audit analysis, permit to work, and basically everything, non-conformance and corrective action analysis, where we are looking at the various open actions, closed actions, what is the closure rate for both internal and external audit and permit to work audit, and then again internal audit, non-conformance, open and closed being compared against each other, and then external audits and that of permit to work. Right. And then again, you look at management visits to ensure that leadership are engaging with the workers and they're going to the ground to ensure that they are driving the culture as far as safety is concerned. And we can look at the emergency drills, right? That you set a drill, the targets, you carry out those drills, you improve your emergency preparedness, you get everybody aligned when it comes to what to do in case of an emergency. Then we have safety bulletin and all of these interesting stuff. Safety meetings, very important. We have environmental monitoring, right? To identify the various KPIs for environmental, like tracking your hazardous, your various, categories of waste and performing environmental monitoring and all of these stuff and tracking your utility consumption. We have everything here. And again, we have management review, which is an important parameter when it comes to safety in ensuring continual improvement. At the end of the year, you want to make sure you do a management review. Or if you want to do it the next year, it's very, very important that you're doing it for the previous year to improve your health and safety standard. All right. And then again, we are looking at random alcohol tests. You're looking at stop work authority analysis, disciplinary action, and safety awards. So that is what this template is all about. The Power BI model gives a lot more visualization features to make your health and safety job much exciting. So that when you look more professional to your top management, when you're doing a presentation, they tell you that you're actually a very good safety manager, a very good safety practitioner, and for that reason you want to keep engaging you, or you're a very good consultant because you have a lot of solutions, you have a lot of templates to communicate how you're performing, how you're doing your job, how you're improving health and safety performance. All right. So thank you all for your attention. In case you're interested in this template, all you need to just head over here, click on purchase. It's going to take you to our website. All right. And then you can actually read a lot more to understand what it is about. Now, this is a very easy to use template. All right, it's a lot of parameters, but very, very simple. Because once you focus on your database, just the actual and the target source data, all of these reports are generated automatically, including the Power BI model. So there's nothing really you have to do. So you're bringing, health and safety analysis, health and safety performance measurement to the level that makes it even easy for anyone at all without Excel skills, without data, skills and all of that, to be able to use this template. And we give you the 100% support. If you want to book a meeting, all you need to just book a meeting with us. We're going to sort you out. All right. So I'm going to see you guys in another video. Bye for now.